Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. We had a holiday yesterday, and so we're doing the video today on a Tuesday. I hope everyone had a good President's Day. And we know what today is. It's time to buy some more dividend paying stocks. And what we're looking at right now is my taxable M1 stock brokerage account. This is where I have my Average Joe dividends portfolio. This is about 15% of my total net worth. I believe in having a very strong foundation in ETFs like VTI or VU, and that's where the majority of my net worth resides, but I like to have individual dividend paying stocks as well. And in this portfolio, my largest holding is SCHD. So let's just take a look at the last year. We can see that the stock market has rebounded quite nicely. My portfolio, you can see a dip below the 200K mark, and looks like the last low point of this portfolio was in late October at 192, and we've seen highs of just over 235,000, and we just started to dip a little bit down to the 232 mark. So this portfolio has been doing pretty good. So I'm going to jump into the activity log, and what I do every Monday morning, again since yesterday was a holiday, we're doing this on a Tuesday, I deposit $100 of my own money, and I let the portfolio really do the heavy lifting for me, because the dividends being paid from this portfolio are a lot higher than what I'm kicking into it every week. And we can see here's my deposit here, the $100, and the 248, that is a dividend drip from Costco. We'll click on that. We'll see what these 6 buys were. And first up was the dividend drip from Costco, 248, and they just recently paid me a special dividend of $35. So it was nice to see a kind of a quick hitter again of Costco paying $2.48. So I selected Best Buy as my first stock. They haven't been doing the greatest, but I'm expecting them to raise their dividend here, I believe, in March. So $20 goes to Best Buy. And then Avista, the energy sector, has not been doing great lately as well. So another $20 there. And Avista just recently raised their dividend by about 3%. And then Yum Brands has been actually doing pretty well. They had a nice dividend increase recently, so I decided to put $20 more into Yum Brands, which is Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, in that company there. And then Coca-Cola, $20 into Coke. And Coke is just kind of a steady eddy. They increase their dividend, it seems like clockwork, every year by about that 4 to 5%. And then Qualcomm was the last one up to round out that $100. So what we're going to do next is we're going to update my tracking sheet. I'll go to my tracking sheet, and we're going to show the difference in my income, because by buying just fractional shares of those companies, and as well as the dividend drip from Costco. Of course, the Costco one's not going to do much to my dividend income, just a little bit, but every little bit does add up. But I'll leave a link below to this Google Docs spreadsheet. This shows all the positions in my dividend portfolio. Again, this is only 15% of my net worth. And you can see I have the company, ticker symbol, share price, and it uses a simple Google Finance function to pull that, so I don't have to log into M1 to check my balance or anything. And we can see I'm using a VLOOKUP table in an M1 data tab below, and we're going to utilize that in just a few minutes, where I'm going to do just a simple copy and paste. I don't have to type in my new number of shares or my new cost basis. It's going to automatically do that for us real quickly. You can see my gain or loss for each position here. So SCHD has recovered nicely. I remember it was in the 60s not too long ago, so it's nice to see this recovery here. And also next month SCHD is going to announce a new dividend per share. It's going to be in the low 60s is my best guess, so that's going to drop that dividend at least in March, but I think it's going to recover. You can see the yield percentage, the yield on my cost, and most importantly, I have everything arranged by the pay date, and we are in the medium greens, which is for February, and we can see the total dividends received so far for this month, a total of $154.27, but we're not done in February. I have a very large dividend I'm expecting at the end of the month from BST, over $450, and when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to have a nice little dividend from Caterpillar, and so that will be added in there too. It should actually be paying today, but M1 has a 1-day delay, so that's why I put in for the pay date. So that's why it's the 21st. You'll notice that if you're a Caterpillar owner, that the 20th is the actual pay date. So I'm going to scroll down and show you some other things as well. You can see the the dividend paid, the total number of dividends I've received from each position. You can see almost $4,000 from SCHD so far. I tracked the last increase, and here's the increased month as well. And we're going to go into Home Depot in just a minute too. February is their month where they announce their dividend increase. So just remember, as a dividend investor, and if you own companies like a Home Depot or a Waste Management where they regularly increase their dividends, then the dividend per quarter per share is going to constantly keep going up, and in some cases there's a doubling effect in less than 10 years. So with some of these stocks, which is nice to see your income double in some of these cases. So I'll scroll down here further, and we can see here's the total value of the portfolio right here. Here's my cost basis, here's my gain or loss. You can see the current yield percentage. Here's the yield on cost of the portfolio. Here is the quarterly income of this portfolio, and I've also broken it down by monthly too as well. Got a monthly average at $923.85. This is soon to go up, and it'll just be above the $924 is what I'm estimating, because I only put in $100, and we just had the Costco dividend drip. But I'm also going to show you the effect of Home Depot, because they just announced a dividend raise. We'll get to that too. First, we're going to update the buys and the drip and what that did to my monthly cash flow, as well as quarterly and annual. You can see annual, I'm pulling in over $11,000 from this portfolio alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to M1. We're going to go to the Holdings tab. I'm going to show you how I'll import this. So I wouldn't have to, for 6 lines, actually for 6 stocks, I would have to change the number of shares as well as my cost basis to update that sheet. But instead, I'm going to grab all of this data starting from the name column, and everything is arranged by my largest position to the smallest. You can see SCHD is the bulk of this. And we'll go all the way down for the difference, actually 57 positions. Copy data, we're just going to do a quick paste, and again it's going to change this. It's going to change the number of shares and the cost basis as well for those 6 different stocks. Go to the M1 data tab, do a paste special, and you're welcome to use this sheet. I'll leave a link below. And if you use M1, it works perfectly. You just have to adjust what stocks you have in the portfolio, and of course delete my data out after you copy it, because I probably have more positions and different positions than you have. So I pasted that in. We'll go back to dividend portfolio, and just as I suspected, it'd be just over $924. So we're going to update on my monthly average dividend tracking. We're going to carry over that $924.15. And this is just a ledger where I track any kind of activity, or if I deposit money. In this case, it was a $100 deposit in a Costco drip. I'm going to put in the $924.15. And we're going to see that added an additional 30 cents of monthly income. It also changed my annual and quarterly by just a little bit too as well. And I know 30 cents doesn't sound like a whole lot, but this is just this one event. You can see on the 16th I had just dividend drips. It was 20 cents, and Coca-Cola had a recent raise on the 15th, and that changed it by 18 cents. You can see every day, every couple days, or sometimes multiple events per day. We're going to have 2 events today with the Home Depot raise as well. It just keeps increasing this monthly income. Of course, we're going to have an event in March, as I mentioned before, with SCHD lowering their dividend, but that's going to be temporary. So next what we're going to do is we're going to put in the Home Depot dividend raise. I'm going to show you how I found that as well. We're going to go back to the dividend portfolio tab, and I have a couple links here. One's at Seeking Alpha, and it has the market news for dividend stocks. I like this one, and another one after we reflect that Home Depot raise. I'm going to show you a good place to look at dividend declarations where you don't necessarily have a dividend raise, and you can see some history. I like to look up over at dividendinvestor.com. They have pretty good data over there. So I'm going to go over here to this link, and this is just news, and Seeking Alpha is pretty fast on this, on updating new information. It looks like my computer is taking a few seconds, so we'll let that load here. There it goes. Usually it's a lot quicker. Of course, since I'm doing a video, it's going to delay it. So let me scroll down here, and I'm going to show you what I found. Usually, like every morning, I'll check this link over here and look for companies where I own shares in and see if they've announced a dividend increase. You can see I don't own Walmart, but you can see Walmart's announced a 9% increase, which is quite nice. And here's what I found this morning was Home Depot hiked their dividend by 7.7%. And the information I carry over is the new pay dates as well as the new quarterly dividend. So we're going to update those two things. We're going to put March 22nd because there's going to be a 1-day delay. I'm going to scroll up to where Home Depot is. That's their new pay dates. And then their new dividend is going to be $2.25. And you can see I own 4 shares. I don't have a huge position in Home Depot. But what it's going to do is you can see what the last dividend was, or what I would be expected to be paid without this dividend raise. And it's going to be modest. It's not going to be a huge change, but it's going to increase it somewhat. To $9.10. Make sure, yeah, $2.25. So we saw the old one, it was $8.46. It's going to be now $9.10 on March 22nd. Then what I do is I sort this, and it's going to push Home Depot down into March. And there we are. You can see the 9.10. And of course, this changed my monthly income now to $924.36. And we want to change Home Depot their dividend raise as well. Their last one was 10%, so this was a little bit lower, close to 8%, but I will take it. That's still a very nice dividend payout. So $924.36. And we'll see this increase. So adding an additional 21 cents per month. There we go. So yeah, Home Depot 7.7% dividend raise, added additional 21 cents of income. So just by today's events, every month going forward, an additional 51 cents. Doesn't sound like much, but when you have these events over and over nearly every day, they just add up. So the last thing I'm going to show you is my dividend tracker. And I've been doing these videos since January 2021. You can see how the portfolio value has gone up and up. And here we are in February. Here's the dividends paid so far. And you can see my average monthly dividend at $9.2436. You can see it compared to last month. And we've added an additional $7.05 just in February to my monthly income. Month over month gain of 0.77%. Annual dividend is at over $11,000, and you can see the annual increase. Put in an additional $100, so I'm contributed $300 for the month of February. Some months there's 5 Mondays, so that's the reason why it was $500 in January. And we can see here what we're on pace to. We'll see how we do compared to February 2023. We'll see how badly we beat the last dividends from 2023. We can look at January. We beat it with 611 compared to 532. So you can see how not only is this portfolio value increasing, my dividends just keep going up and up, which is fantastic to take a look at. And we'll just go over just one last quick thing. And this is, I have a total net worth tab. This shows everything I'm invested in. If you're curious, from I have Vanguard accounts with an IRA, as well as a tiny Roth account, and I have a taxable account over here. So I have a lot in ETFs. So I'm invested in the total stock market, US as well as international, with a tiny bit of bond exposure. You can see my 401k mostly in S&P 500, and I also have an IRA and M1 Finance as well. You can see mostly in VU, VTI, SCHD, and BST, tracking things like cash in my savings accounts. In Capital One, I use it mostly to pay bills and move money around. Added a new line for home equity, as I recently purchased a home, and here is the equity I have into the home. And we'll see how quickly I want to pay this one off. I'm thinking like 3 to 5 years I want to pay off the house in total to reduce my expenses. And we can see I added liabilities as well. Balances on credit card, and those are balances I pay off every month. I never carry a balance over to the next month and pay interest. And that wasn't always the case when I was younger, in my 20s, especially after college. I wasn't making as much money, and I don't make a great deal of money today, but with getting out of college and having expenses, I had credit card debt, I had other debts to pay off, but right now I don't have any debt besides my mortgage right now. So this is my total net worth, which is north of 1.5 million. And I also track my W-2 income as well as expenses, and track that gap going forward as well. And I do a video every month of my expenses, and just simple budgeting video. It doesn't seem to be as popular as the dividend video, but I think it's just as important as this, if not more, because you really have to control your expenses, and without a gap you'll have no money to invest into your future. So that sums up what I wanted to show you in today's video. We'll go back really quickly and see what those buys were. Again, what I'm buying is not investment advice. It's just what I think is a good idea to invest in, at least in my portfolio. So Best Buy, Avista, Yum, Coca-Cola, and Qualcomm were my selections for this week. Let me know in the comments below what you're buying this week. And thanks everybody for sticking to the end of this video. If you got value from this video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so you do not miss future videos. Thanks again everybody. I hope everyone has a great week. Everyone take care.